Welcome to the Observe Day podcast, the show where we celebrate the days that matter. From holidays to meaningful observances, we bring you inspiring conversations, stories, and ideas to make each day count. Whether it's raising awareness, learning something new, or simply sparking joy, this is your space to explore the calendar in a whole new way. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I'm excited to share today's observance with you. Let's dive in. Okay. Dr. Corinne Aumann is an author, psychologist, CEO, and expert on the aging journey. She's the founder of Choice Care Navigators, where she helps families navigate the often overwhelming process of elder care. Her groundbreaking book, Teenagers, challenges the conventional view of aging, reframing 55 to 80 not as decline, but as an extended middle adulthood full of purpose, growth, and possibility. Corinne is on a mission to change the way we think about aging, urging us to face it with positivity rather than fear. In honor of National Reading New Book Month, she joins us to talk about why reading, and especially reading new stories about aging, is essential for overcoming ageism, reshaping retirement, and unlocking meaning at every stage of life. Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Corinne.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I, I'm excited to just have a chat about books and the work you do in aging.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, September is National Reading New Book Month. What book outside of your own has recently shifted how you think about aging or resilience?
Oh, goodness. That's a really hard question to narrow down, honestly.
Okay.
I have a whole I you can't see, but I have a whole bookshelf of age-related books with me here. I think one of the most influential ones that I've read in recent years is one by Dr. Becca Levy from the Yale School of Public Health. And I'm going to have to think for a second about what the name of it is. Um, there it is. It's Breaking the Age Code. Breaking the Age Code. That book, she reports her years and years of research on ageism and our outlook on aging and how much the way you think about your own aging impacts how well that process goes. And so that book has been tremendously impactful to me and my thinking about my own aging process, but also the way everybody else around me is thinking about and talking about their aging.
Hmm. Oh, thank you for that recommendation. Your book, Teenagers. When I saw the name, I was like, wow, that's an exciting play on words. It reframes ages 55 to 80 as an extended middle adulthood. How does reading news stories like yours help people challenge stereotypes about aging?
So the thing that I see all the time in working with older adults is that we have these stereotypes about what aging is going to be like, that as people get older, they're slower, they're cranky, they're unpleasant to want to be around, all these kind of negative stereotypes. And then there is the reality of what people actually experience on a day-to-day basis. And the two do not match in the sense that so many people are getting into their 60s and 70s, and rather than living up to those kind of traditional stereotypes, they are keen, interested in continuing to work, continuing to be active and engaged with life. They are not, retiring and going and, sitting around and doing nothing. And that reality versus the stereotypes is really why I wanted to write the book and talk about how different life today as someone in this age group is than what we think about it being. And, it's really different today than it would have been for your parents or your grandparents at those same ages. Healthcare has extended our longevity. People are, healthier and more active at this time period than they've ever been. And so, it's not your grandma's older adulthood. It's very different now, and our stereotypes have not kept up with those changes. So I
Yeah.
think reading the stories that are in teenagers and thinking about, "Hey, I can have a really different experience than what these stereotypes are telling me," is, I hope, super helpful to people.
Hmm. Oh, teenagers. Is there a subtitle to the book? Or it's
Yeah,
just
it's, the subtitle is "Telling a New Story About Aging."
teenagers telling the news. Before we dive deeper, I'd love to invite you to join the Observe Day newsletter. Every week, I send you highlights of upcoming observances, creative ways to celebrate, and behind the scenes extras from the shows. It's the perfect way to stay inspired and never miss a meaningful moment. Sign up today at observeday.com/join. That is observeday.com/join. Now, let's get back to the conversation. When you talked about the book Teenagers, I was like, we should probably make a commercial for the book.
I'm sorry, make a what?
I said it would be fun to make a commercial, like an ad. Like these are for funny TV ads for the book. Like I'm just thinking of some scenes we would have where, you know, he's like, oh, granddad is this, and all those stereotypes, and then we'll talk about teenagers telling a new
Uh-huh,
story.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah, that would be a nice idea.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think it's one of these things too where we think that those stereotypes about aging really apply to everybody else, but yet somehow we ourselves aren't aging, or we ourselves aren't going to fit into
uh,
any of those boxes. So it's like, yeah,
uh,
those stereotypes are all
uh,
true, but about other people. They're not about me. And then when it gets
nah,
to
no,
us
no, no. We're different. I'm
personally,
different.
we're different. Yeah, we're the exception to the
Yeah,
rule.
yeah. With the
And
exceptions to the rule, we're not
yeah,
in the
and
bell curve.
one thing to note, it is teenagers with a K. I know when we're talking, it sounds a lot like teenagers, but it is different, terminology.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. So a lot of
Mhm.
persons they might just miss that. Oh yeah, what does teenagers have to do with aging? Like, what are we not going to do here?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, the thing is, ageism is deeply ingrained in society. And why did you decide to write a book as a way to help break down those assumptions and build empathy?
Well, one thing is to bring awareness. It's amazing to me how many people have never heard of or thought about ageism. I give talks about this kind of thing all the time, and I almost always run into someone who has never heard of it or has never considered it at all. And so ageism is bias against someone based on their age. And honestly, it's one of the few stereotypes that I think today still exists, and we just kind of accept it. We think that those stereotypes are true, and it's also one of the few stereotypes that maybe doesn't apply to you, but if you live long enough, it will. And most of the
Yeah,
things we think about stereotypes, that's not how it works. But in this case, if you just hang around long enough, and ageism is going to apply to you. So I think
yeah. Sorry.
awareness of what ageism is one of the main motivations for writing it. And then helping people understand how pervasive ageism is. Because once you start paying attention to it, you will see it in all kinds of areas of your life. You will hear other people say things and you'll think, well, that's ageist. Or if you're like me, you will hear yourself say things and go, what just came out of my mouth? What is that? What
Yeah,
did I just say? Um, I had a pair of headphones that would not connect to my phone. And I said, "Oh, these are my old headphones. They're just tired and cranky. That's why they won't
yeah.
connect." And my husband looked at me and was like, "You know that's an ageist statement, right?" I went, "Oh no.
uh,
What have I done?" So you once you start paying attention, you will really hear this kind of stuff everywhere. And it's amazing how we just say these things and we don't even think about it. We just assume that it's true.
yeah. One of the key things you talked about is everyone assumes that the stereotypes are true, but not when it comes to them. Like for some reason, we're the exception. And many people they avoid thinking about older adulthood, the extended adulthood for let me use your terminology, until they are forced to, right? And
Mhm.
for me, how can books, and to be specific, teenagers help or encourage earlier and healthier conversations about aging?
Well, I think, it helps because it just brings the ideas about older adulthood to people's attention, and it helps them see the power of thinking ahead and planning ahead for determining how well their older adulthood is going to go. So, for example, one of the things I see is that so many people do kind of bury their heads in the sand and they pretend like they're not aging and this is not happening to them. And so that when you do that, that means you haven't done any planning, you haven't done any preparation, and you end up in a situation as an older adult where there's a crisis and everything goes to crap as you haven't planned and prepared and done the things you need to do to have a great older adulthood. If we are actively looking forward to growing older, if we're looking forward to these years and going, I'm going to retire from my first job, but I'm going to start a new career, or I'm going to do that thing I've always wanted to do, learn a new hobby, whatever it is. If I'm looking forward to these years and I'm actively thinking about what I'm going to do with this time, then I can plan and prepare to make it go really well. And then guess what? It goes much better when we do that, when we've planned and
Yeah,
prepared, than when we just pretend like we're not aging. That doesn't tend to end up going so great.
yeah. Oh, oh. Thank you for writing the book, Teenagers.
Oh, I'm glad people have, responded to it, and have if anybody learns from it that they have things to look forward to as they grow older, then my work is done.
Yeah. Wow. The reason I'm breathing in and breathing out is because we're about to do something challenging. It's a fun segment in the episode. I like to call it the lightning round, where I ask a set of quick fire questions and I expect quick fire answers from the guest. You ready? Let's do this. What's a book that made you rethink aging?
I told you my favorite one, which is the Breaking the Age Code.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why I'm laughing.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's probably my favorite.
okay. One book every caregiver should read.
Every caregiver should read.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, there's a book by Roz Chast called "Can We Talk About Something More Pleasant?" And
Mm,
I think that's a great. It's actually like a she's an artist, like a comic artist, and it's actually almost drawn like a comic book, and I think it's really insightful and well done, but also will kind of make caregivers feel seen and understood. And so, yeah, I think that's a really good one.
yeah. So as someone who reads, what do you prefer? Print? Okay, paperback, hardcover, ebook, or audiobook, which is basically print, ebook, or audiobook.
Well, I like a print book, but my time means that I listen to a lot of audiobooks because that's just how I'm going to get through the things I want to
Yeah.
read. But I love a good print book if I, have the time to sit there and read it.
What's the book that inspired teenagers the most?
Probably Breaking the Age Code would be the
Okay.
number 1. Yeah, and then, hang on. The second one would be, if I can, The Longevity Economy is another really good one because
Wow.
that, talks about the financial impact, the positive financial impact of having so many healthy, active, older people in our world.
Okay. What's a book you'd recommend to someone turning 60?
In 2060?
What's
Like
a
the
book
year?
you what's a book you recommend to someone who just turned 60 years old?
Oh, someone who just well, teenagers. They
Okay.
should be reading teenagers if they haven't
Okay.
already.
Okay. This question is going to be a little bit sensitive. Wait for it. Your favorite chapter in teenagers and why?
I'm sorry, ask it again?
What's your favorite chapter in teenagers and why is it? Why?
The ageism chapter, for sure. The
What
because
chapter is that? What's the number? Chapter what?
this is like a quiz. I don't know. Hang
Oh,
on.
wait, you just mentioned you wrote the book. You're like ageism chapter. I'm like, okay, so what chapter is it? Chapter 12, chapter 10, chapter 5?
I know, but I don't have the chapters memorized. I had to grab the book and look. It's
Oh,
chapter 7. It's chapter
okay.
7. That's the thing, I
I
forgot the
told you that
chapter number.
this is going to be tough. I told you.
It is. You
Okay.
weren't kidding.
Okay. Chapter 7, the ageism chapter. Please, when you do grab the book, check out chapter 7, see, and find out why that is a favorite chapter. Okay. What's a book you've gifted the most to friends or family?
That's true. That's
Ah,
100% true. Yes. Um,
okay. Uh, okay. What's a surprising book about aging, whether fiction or non-fiction, that made you smile?
Surprising book about aging that made
Whether
me
fiction
smile.
or non-fiction that made you smile?
I mean, I think that Roz Chast book that I mentioned would be my favorite in terms of making me it makes you wanna cry and smile all at the same time because you
Yeah.
feel her pain. There's another book, this is an older book, but there's a book called Another Country, and it's about
Hmm.
growing older, but it's about growing older and how as you grow older, it's almost like you live in another country compared to everybody else, and that's one I read a long time ago, but I think it really shaped my interest in what I do now.
Yeah. Well, if your life right now was a book title, what would it be?
If it was a book,
If your
um,
life right now was a book, what would the title be?
survival.
Hmm. Survivor is winning. Every other thing is
I,
boom. It's
I
BS.
have I have 4 teenage children at home right
I
now.
still where teenagers came from.
And then I
Hmm.
also have 2 aging parents myself, and then
Oh, okay.
I'm also writing books and doing all the things, so I feel like it's survival, day to day,
Wow.
making it through.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. It's uh I'm so sorry to have stressed you with the lightning round, but it was worth it.
It just wasn't I needed time to, like, make sure I had the book titles in my brain so that I knew what I wanted to say, but that's okay, that was fun.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we talked about the book Teenagers and also the work you do. Where can listeners learn more about the book and also connect with you?
Excuse me. Yes, so the best place to reach me is my website, which is my name, Corinne Aumann. That's CORINNEAUMAN at .com. And there you can learn more about me, about the book, and reach out if you're interested in connecting.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Dr. Corinne. That's it for today's episode of the Observe Day podcast. Thank you for spending your time with us as we explore today's observance. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and share it with a friend who'd love to celebrate life special days too. Don't forget to join the newsletter at observeday.com/join for more observance stories, tips, and updates. Until next time, keep finding meaning in every day.